Hey folks, your old pal keeping it country. Let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Morgan Wallen. He used a derogatory remark. He got slapped down for it, and by all rights, he needed to be censored for it. But you don't take a person's means of making a living away from them. I do not condone what he said. I never will condone that word. But let's all just be honest. We've all done something in our past that we shouldn't have did or said. Period. And if you say you haven't ever, I'll call you a damn liar to your face. Because unless you're a baby and hasn't learned how to talk yet, you've done something or said something that you shouldn't have said at one time or another, whether you want to be honest enough to admit it to yourself or not. The thing is we're holding the wrong person accountable. People knew he had an issue back in 2012. He had an issue with some things he was doing. And then, as of recent, you had the Saturday Night Live incident. And then he turned around and had the drunken incident in Nashville outside of Kid Rock's place. So, my point with that is Nashville knew about it. All these people knew about it. The problem is me and you. We let them continue to do something. We let them continue to be and do exactly what they're doing. And until we band together and decide that enough of this stuff is enough, then it's not going to change. The music industry is going to be the same. Do you think the Mickey Guyton, Rihanna's, Jennifer Lopez's, Mariah Carey's, do you think they got to rise where they are without doing something? Really be honest with yourself. Because I'm going to tell you, they all had to do and compromise their self in some way to get to where they wanted. And the girl I love most, Taylor Swift, I guarantee you, at some point in time, she said or did something that she really regrets or has remorse about doing or saying or having done to get to where she's at. They've all had to do it. The problem is, folks, is this isn't something brand new. We want to go when it comes out and is exposed like, oh my God, I can't believe he's like. We know he was like that. We know Morgan was having issues. The problem is somebody in management or in the music industry should have taken the young man aside and said, listen, this is not acceptable. This is totally unacceptable. And if you wish to get and climb to the top of the mountain, this is the way you're going to have to do. And if you can't do it, then get off the train. Plain and simple as that. We seem to have forgotten Johnny Cash, convicted felon. One of the all-time promoters in boxing. Don King, convicted murderer. I mean, there's nothing defining that says that somebody doesn't deserve a second chance, a third chance, fourth chance, whatever chance to redeem themselves. The problem is when they keep making the same errors because the people around them allow them to keep making those same errors. Do you think that's right? I don't. And until me and you all band together and say, we've had enough of this silliness, silly season has got to stop. It's going to continue on. And by what I mean by banding together, we need to hold the music record labels, management, and everybody accountable. You're accountable for your artist. Plain and simple as that. Should they be accountable for what they say and do? Yes. But should you as the record label or their management company be accountable? Absolutely. You should have foreseen it. There was always a telling sign that there's trouble in the woodpile. And you neglected to step up to the plate and do what you had to do. And I don't care if it's a Sony, if it's a BMI, if it's a Time Warner, if it's a Nashville Warner, if it's Disney, whomever. You know, this is not something that's brand new. This has been going on since movie pictures started being made and music started being made. There were people who had talent, and there were people who knew how to take advantage of those people who had that talent for their own advantage. So to blackball Morgan Wallen for what he's doing, and that term comes from the entertainment side. Back in the day, in the entertainment industry, if you didn't do or say, especially the females actresses, which now we call entertainers, being politically correct because we're so daggum sensitive that, we all need somebody to take us out and spank us on the ass with a belt and get over ourselves and learn to be a little bit more tolerable. But the entertainment industry started the blackballing thing with the actresses when they didn't do or perform something that their company required of them or their boss required of them. They just didn't work in the industry anymore, and that was an acceptable practice. Today we know better, or at least we'd like to think we know better, but yet we're letting that same daggum thing happen to Morgan Wallen. And I'm not saying forgive him for what he said. I'm thinking it's going to take a minute for him to redeem himself. He needs to go through some kind of counseling and some type of redemption program that serves a higher purpose than his own daggum self. Because that's the whole point with the artist, whether they be in the entertainment industry, in movies and theater, or whether they be in music, or whether they be in professional sports. They quit caring about the broader horizon of people and just start caring about themselves. Me, 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 me. I. So, you know, in the film industry, they had the casting couch. Do you not think in the music industry they don't have the same casting couch? Or in theater? Or sometimes even in sports? And the second thing is what is up with all this? And I'm not saying it's not deserved. The Black History Month is deserved. Okay, let's show the accomplishments of some Black Americans. I'm not calling them African Americans because they're no longer African. Their bloodline, they were born here, they're Americans. Period. Plain and simple as that. Black Americans. But what about having a Caucasian Awareness Month? What about having a Jewish Awareness Month? What about having a Native American Awareness Month? Which, by the way, are the only true blue Americans in the North Continental Americas. The Indians were here before us. We pushed them off and put them on little plots of land. Now, how fair was that? And if any of y'all have ever been to a reservation, it's not all Skittles and rainbows and unicorns. So let's quit sensationalizing just certain things, and when they come to light, because that is called being reactive. To really be proactive is to get out in front of something. Okay? We know there's racism. But you know what? It ain't just white American, because I can darn well guarantee you I'm not a white privileged American. Never was, never have been. I wore hand me down clothes. I wore my brother's shoes. I wore a lot of different things because we couldn't afford. My dad had to sit and drink his soda pop, back in the days, what they called it, cold drinks, soda pop, Pepsi, Coke, whatever, in the store because he couldn't afford to pay the dadgum deposit on the bottle to take it out of the store. So don't sit here and tell me that, oh, this race is privileged and this race has been this. It's on both and all sides. Anybody's really got a gripe would be the Native Americans. We have yet to step up to the plate to help them. Our veterans, and it don't matter, black, white, green, purple, red, blue, they're veterans. They went to war or served and protected so that me and you could enjoy our way of life. The same way with the presidency thing. Yes, they badgered Trump for 4 years. Okay, that's ancient history. That's in the past. Biden's our president. Didn't vote for him. Don't like him. But you know what? I respect the president of the United States. I respect the office. He's the president of the United States. End of discussion. You're not going to do anything about it. You know why? Because we as a whole cannot seem to band together and get that concept that those idiots work for us. We don't work for them. They don't get to dictate what we do. We're supposed to dictate what they do. But we have become such the lambs and such the sheep that we have just laid down, and we're not going to ruffle the feathers, or we're not going to fluff the pillows unless we absolutely have to, or there comes a need, or it hits home. So, in order to stop the racism, and this is not black on white, this is not white on black, this is not brown on white or brown on black, this is not red on brown or white. This is everybody. Everybody has racism and has had racism in their demographics. Whether you were white, whether you were black, whether you were Native American, whether you were Jewish, whether you were Polish, whether you were Russian, whether you were from India, whether you were Asian. Come on, people. Take the blinders off. Open your eyes. Use your ears. And let this thing do more than just take up space inside your head. It's not one big air pocket. It was put there and designed for a reason. For you to use it. So I've just have had enough of, oh, it's he said, she said, they said, he said, oh, this guy shot this guy, oh, this officer shot that officer, or this officer shot this unarmed person. You know what? Back in the day, and a lot of it has to do with social media because not everybody had cameras back in the day. But, well, I'll talk about that here in a minute. But back in the day, when a law enforcement officer, And it didn't matter whether it was a local policeman, it was a sheriff, it was a state trooper, it was an FBI agent, it was a government agent. If they told you to stop and freeze, you dadgum better stop and freeze right then and there. You didn't get to turn around and give them attitude as, well, why are you stopping me? You don't question them. Those questions come down at the police station, and if they're found to be wrong, then you go out and you hire a lawyer, and then you take ramifications that way. Especially with the way lawyers work nowadays, they work on a contingency. You don't have to put any money up front. So don't tell me, oh, I can't afford a lawyer. Yeah, you can. There's too many of them out there that will not charge you a dadgum dime until you go to court. And if you lose, you don't owe anything. When you win, then they take their percentage out of your winnings. So don't give me excuses. Give me solutions. That's been the problem all along. Everybody wants to complain. Everybody wants to say this is wrong and that is wrong, but nobody wants to say, okay, this is how we can fix the problem. Well, I'm telling you, this is how we can fix the problem. Until we all decide that we want to band together in unity as one and go to our governments, go to our music industries, go to our entertainment industries and tell them, you're not being fair, you're not paying fair wages to women, you're mistreating women of color, you're not giving equal airtime play to women in general on the radio. It's going to continue to stay the very absolute same. And unless you're willing to get up off of your and go and voice your opinion like I do, then you have no room to talk. I'm very vocal. That's part of the reason why I turned down some jobs in Nashville, because they did not want me. And in their behalf, let me clarify. In their behalf, I get their side of it too. If I'm if I'm working for them, that makes me a representative of their company. Just like who you're working for, it doesn't matter if you're on the clock or you're off the clock. You are a representative of your company. If you do something that is not so nice, or you say things that are derogatory, or you use improper words, then you should be held accountable by your company. Which leads me back to Morgan Wallen. His management company and his record label should be held accountable as well. They knew there was a problem, and they neglected to do anything about it to make sure that it never, ever happened again. Now then, to the social media thing. Everybody's so quick to pull out a phone. You know, there's editing tools. It's no different than the news today. When you see the news, do you think you're getting the unfiltered news as they're shooting the film? Of course you're not. They go through, they have an editor, and he cuts it out, and he splices it together so well that you can't even tell that he spliced it together. And they can pretty much make anybody say or seem like they're something that they're not. And I'm not saying all of them do that, but I'm saying they have the ability to do that, and they have for a long, 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 long time. But the same with these cameras. All of a sudden, you're seeing excerpts but you're only seeing what they want you to see. They didn't let you see what led up to that whole event and why maybe somebody blurted out something. Whether they were using it as a term of endearment, unless you're of that ethnicity, you're not supposed to use that word. Ever. Period. I grew up behind Eatonville, Florida. That is the oldest black community in the United States of America. And growing up, my black friends used to love when I would use that word with them as a term of endearment. Now it's not so funny. So yeah, I've used that word myself. But I'm a big enough man to say, yeah, I have said it. But I'm also a good enough person to know that for the last 15 or 20 years, it's not been acceptable to say it. And have since not. When I was a kid, yes. As an adult, no. So we have all done things in our past as kids that we wish we hadn't done. But with the state of social media and everybody with a camera in their hand and everybody's recording this or recording that, you're going to find out who people really, really are. Just because they say they believe in Jesus Christ. Just because they want to praise God. Doesn't make them a very nice person. Not always. You should know that from our music industries and their award shows, because just about all of them, I want to thank God, I want to thank Christ, I want to thank that. You know what? I want to thank my mom and my dad for giving me morals and values that reign supreme today. You know, 99 years, life was a lot different. In 2021, life is even more different. In 2020, it really became different. Now then, we as human beings who have been blessed with a planet, are we going to continue down the path we're going? Or is there another path that we wish to take? The choice is ours. Plain and simple. Nobody can tell you, you have to do this, you have to do that. You don't have to do anything. I always say the only thing I really have to do is die. A lot of people say all I have to do is pay taxes and die. You don't have to pay taxes. The ramifications and some of the consequences from those actions might be detrimental to you. But at some point, we're all going to pass away. We're all going to not cease to be on this plane of existence anymore. So I really would like, and I always use my hashtags, and there's a reason I use them. I figure maybe if one person sees them and starts using them, maybe we can create a domino effect. Maybe one of their friends can start using it, and then one of their friends, or two of their friends, or three of their friends. But I'll leave you the way that I always leave everything. And it's, Remember to be kind to one another, and remember to love one another. And until next time, this is your old pal, Keeping It Country. I love you all. Peace out. Behave. Be well. And I hope everyone's families are doing well amidst this current situation and environment we're living in. Peace out.